Okay, welcome everyone to this amazing webinar that Andrew and I are running. It's called Take Your Relationship from Good to Great, and these are two series. There's a series of two webinars, and today we're gonna just give 100% to you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw it at us, and we'll try our best to answer as we go along.
Hello, everyone.
So I think before we start, Andrew, I would love to run through some housekeeping rules, and if I miss anything, you can just add it in. So this webinar gonna go for about 15 minutes, and then Andrew and I are gonna have a question and answer section when you guys can just throw any questions at us, and we will go through and answer them for you. And throughout these webinars, if you have any questions at all, just pop it in the box on your right-hand side. I'll check in every now and then and just see if there are questions. And so this is a space where there's no judgment at all, whether it's the judgment towards yourself or towards others. There's no right or wrong answer. And the insights that Andrew and I are going to be sharing with you are just based on our own experience and knowledge and what we've learned throughout the years. There's going to be a space for fun, curiosity, where we're going to embrace a lot of learning. And if you feel like you need to ask something, feel free to do so. We might touch base on some sensitive topics. If you feel like it's pushing your buttons, just stay still, because this is where you're going to learn the most, pushing through your uncomfortable zone. And there's also a space where you embrace the vulnerability, knowing it's the highest form of courage. Andrew, do you want to add anything into that?
Yeah, I'd like to say also, guys, now that we're on the webinar, if there's any other open applications, any other internet servers, please exit them. It'll make the call run a lot better. From experience, the more people that are on the call and the more people that have their internet servers on or applications, it slows down the webinar and you can't actually hear us effectively. Also, Tad, I hope you guys have a cup of tea and a nice warm coffee or something like that to drink away. You might not need the tissue boxes, so leave that till the end. Also, guys, I'd like to say thank you and appreciate it and a commitment to you guys. So, also part of the housekeeping rules is, actually, that's probably about it, isn't it? That's all we do. Yep, judgment-free zone. So we've covered all that.
Yep.
And please, guys, enjoy yourselves. Come from an open mind and a space where you guys can learn as much as you can as possible.
Absolutely.
And let's get this flowing and let it flow through and enjoy yourselves, guys.
Right.
So yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
All right.
also note pen and pen and notepad. Make
Yep.
sure you guys have a notepad and pen. That's what I was looking for.
Great.
Take notes.
All right. Are we ready? All right. I think first of all, it's just fair for us to introduce who we are and why we're here. So I'll go first, if you don't mind, Andrew.
No,
So
the ladies first.
ladies first, as always. My name is Jane, and I am a relationship mentor from Honeymoon Forever. I'm certified in NLP, and also I'm trained in human behavioral analysis, which is called DIS, very popular in corporate world. My passion is really to help women create and live the modern happily ever after dream. I remember when I was growing up, I dreamed happily ever after. Things happened. I went through an abusive relationship and it just crushed the dream. After a few years working on myself, going through the coaching journey, I realized that everyone deserves the happily ever after dream, and you can, the moment you allow yourself to be the permission to be happy and fulfilled in relationship. And when I say the modern happily ever after, it really means it's on your terms, however you want it to be. I'm writing my own book, and the book is called Honeymoon Forever. the ultimate guide to a lifetime love and passion, which will be published in June this year. So I'm very excited about this year because I went through, being an abusive relationship victim to really living my dream, getting married this year, um, take my take my business to a whole new level. So yeah, so that's just me. Andrew, you want to go?
Yes, now it's my turn. Well, everyone, I'm Andrew Soteropoulos, and I'm a qualified coaching practitioner and an expert in confidence coaching. I guess over the years, quickly, little story. I lost my father about 5 years ago, I think this year, and ever since then, I lost a part of my manhood and confidence for life, because he was my role model and someone that I looked up to, and that really took a big hit in my life. And now, at the age of 23, I can say that I have become extremely successful personally in personal development. So right now, I'm designing also coaching packages and programs for people out there that have lost for men that have lost their manhood. So coming together now with Jane is putting our both our expertise and our leadership skills and our mentoring skills to really help people out there. And it's all about living life to your fullest, and that's what confidence is. It gives you the ability to live life to your fullest. And a great life really just starts within yourself and with the people that are around you. So I like to say, guys, this has been a big step for me coming out of that loss. And also on my 21st birthday, my grandfather died. I basically woke up and he had his last breath. So ever since then, I've been working towards helping and coaching people that can really benefit their lives. So I thank you guys for coming on board and listening and hearing our stories, because it's a big world out there. We're not here to talk about, oh, look what's gone through with us, but we're here to help you guys and guide you guys. Okay. That is just
Alrighty.
a little bit about me.
Okay, I'm going to run through some benefits of why you guys attend these two webinars. The series of these webinars are called Take Your Relationship from Good to Great. But I don't know if you guys know it yet, but 40% of Australian marriages end in divorce between 7 to 8 years, according to the ABS figure. And that figure is the latest figure of the year 2012. Scary enough, that figure hasn't changed for the last 20 years. So if you think about it, two people walking into marriage, saying vows to happily ever after, promise to be there, to death do us part. 7 years later, they do go through separation, divorce. The impact what they have on the children is just horrible. So I wonder, if the odds are so high, why are we still risking it? There's so many people out there jump into a relationship hoping that somehow it will happen, rather than taking initiatives and making it happen. And that's one of the reasons why Andrew and I are running these webinars, to be able to show people, the mistakes that we have both made in the past and how you guys can avoid them. Most people don't know about this, and I'd rather know about this so you can avoid them, not, making the same mistakes that we have made. And also to show you some of the great secrets and insights that we have researched throughout the years that have worked in our relationships, and how to take it from good to amazing, outstanding, extraordinary. So make sure you attend the next webinar as well, which is going to be the next Wednesday, same time, 7:30 to 8:30. Is there anything we want to add, Andrew?
Also, the benefits is the education and the knowledge of learning from our mistakes. And I think that's how you become successful in anything, not just in business. We're here for relationships, and you learn from other people's mistakes and your own mistakes. And guys, one thing, Jane, you know this, Sharon Pearson, I won't say our teacher, but basically someone that we look up to, said that you shouldn't regret anything in life apart from the things that you're not doing. I'm not the biggest person on regret. I don't regret anything that I've ever done, whether it's good or bad. I've learned from it, and you go forward. And as a couple, you learn to grow together.
And I think really the purpose of it is for you to enhance your chance of success rather than focusing on failure.
Hmm.
Mm. All right. So the next one is about intention. And for a lot of you have come on the call earlier. I've asked you to start thinking about intention. So for you, what would you like to learn to get out of today's webinar? What would be an amazing intention for you? What would you like to change to improve in your relationship? And what will be an amazing outcome for you walking away knowing you have achieved what you're here to look for? So what I want you to do is just type in on the box on the right hand side some of the intention that you have had.
And also, guys, sorry to cut through there, is what's your purpose for today? What's your purpose? Anything we do in life, we have a purpose and
Yep.
also an intention. The purpose, our intention leads to our purpose, and our purpose leads to our intention of life. So today, just think thoroughly, not too thorough, but what is today's purpose and on listening on this webinar? Okay, guys, and make sure to just write it in. Just remember, it's a judgment-free zone, so we're not going to say
Yep.
it, and it's also confidential. Also,
I've got some comment here. Any new insights would be beneficial. That's from Richard. And Sarah said to find a new way or tools to take our relationship to an even better level. Spot on. And I think I do believe that you can always take it to another level. There's always another level in whatever you do. Who would want more money, more love, more passion, more excitement in life? And I think it's really about the amazing new heights that we're about to achieve, and it's just really really exciting.
it is, and it's the steps that we take there. So let this, guys, be the beginning and the insights of how you can take yourself to another level within a relationship or just in general. So make sure you set the right intention for today. Well, there is no right or wrong, but make sure you set the intention of today. So yeah, and thank you guys for sharing your insights. Appreciate it.
And I think for us, I'm speaking on behalf of Andrew here. Our intention here today is just to serve you 110%, to add values into your life. And yet, like I said, it's really about sharing, a lot of the insight and lessons and mistakes we've made in the past, so that you can then take your relationship to where you want it to be. Yep. Another intention is to discover something that I didn't know that will also help us take our relationship to an even better level. Open to any great tips. Great. All
Great
right.
stuff, guys. Thank you for the input.
Thank you. Thank you for the intention, guys. All right. First of all, we're going to share with you the 7 common mistakes for today's webinar. Number 1, we're going to bust some relationship myths. The happily ever after dream. So, all right. The old version of happily ever after dream. So we all, as I remember when I was a girl growing up, I watched cartoon. There's always, a girl being rescued by her own hero, whether it's Prince Charming, whether it's Superman, superheroes, from the evil stepmother. But that old mentality, when it comes to happily ever after dreams, you stay with a lot of people. They expect miracles to happen, and they avoid problems. But for most couple, it's when they're afraid of saying that, oh my God, I have problems in relationship, because they're afraid that, that's a sign of failure. But like Andrew will share with you, what is the new version of the happily ever after. Because the old version actually doesn't work anymore in our 21st century. And how we can see the happily ever after dream can become reality based on a new version. All right, you should.
And it has. So, guys, the old version worked for so many years. We've seen our grandparents, we've seen probably mothers and fathers, not so much the new generation, but the old school generation, especially for me coming from a very big European background. It always used to be, well, my grandparents, it was the man that would stay home and the woman, the man would go to work and the woman would stay home, or a stay-home mother. And you see, it worked for so long, but don't forget the income back then, guys, was so much different to what it is now. It's a lot harder for you guys, for people out there, to just live off one income. So it is about equality and creating the miracles that you guys can push through today's problems and even financial problems, love problems, and that's why you guys are here. The new way of thinking, people have still got the old belief systems of how life should have been back then. It's not like that now, so we've got to pick up the speed and get up to date, because what happens is if we live too far back, we create a lot more problems for ourselves and we can't see the obstacles that are ahead. So guys, just understand that it's like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You both go to work and come back, and now we've got to have two set incomes.
And I think I want to add to that, it's really, you think about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they're both equally as powerful, as strong. They know exactly what they want, they go after it. And they fight for what they believe. They fight for their relationship. They power through problems. They didn't let the bad guy step in their way. They fight that all through because they have a greater vision of their relationship, which we were going to touch base later. But I think the modern version is for us to realize that we are the creator of our own lives. We create miracles in our relationship. We're not expecting somehow relationship will work out.
It is. It's coming together for the greater good. Yep. It's coming together as both husband and wife, as boyfriend, as girlfriend. And it's coming together as just one. So it's becoming two into one. And that's what it is. It's creating the belief systems for the sake of the relationship to last longer. And it's not just powering through the problems. It's learning the best possible way and most productive way you can get through a problem. And that's why today, and that's why we called it the next gen relationships, is because this is the next generation and we have to lead it for the next generation after that. So why not start now?
Absolutely. Okay, number 2, most common myth is hoping, wishing and waiting. So first of all, I want to tell you a story of a couple who are friends of mine. So Rob and Julie met about 3 years ago. It was more love at first sight. You know, it was just chemistry. And everything went really, really well. They loved each other very much. It was a lot of passion. There was a lot of excitement. However, they never really discussed about where they're going. They was really living in the moment, which is awesome. But the interesting thing is about few months after the 3 years anniversary, Julie sat down and talked to Rob about, you know, where they're really going. Because where she saw it was the fact that she always knew that she wanted to be a mum. She wanted to have a family. So after their 3-year anniversary, they sit down, start talking about marriages and kids. And unfortunately, in that moment, she found out that Rob, her partner, didn't really agree in terms of their future. He never wanted to have kids, and he never wanted to have a proper traditional family. He thinks that for him, being with her is enough. So what happened then was Julie came to me and said, Jane, what do I do? Because I feel trapped. I feel completely lost. I wish I, could have had the chat like years ago so I didn't have to waste my time and effort into this. So why am I telling you this story? I guess really come back to you and your relationship. People feel lost and trapped in their relationship because they don't know where they're going. You meet someone, you fall in love, and somehow you hoping that magics will happen. But in this 21st century, you have to really plan for your relationship. Where's it going? What is the vision? And most importantly, what are your relationship values? Do you really know where you're going? Because think about it, just like traveling. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't have a destination in mind, how do you get there? And if you don't have a destination in mind, you may reach destination, but you may not be happy or fulfilled because it's not your desired destination. So if you have a think about it, have you got a vision in mind when it comes to your relationship?
And, maybe it's even a good thing to do right now, guys. Is just quickly for a couple of seconds, maybe even just think to yourselves quickly. Have you even thought about this? Because going back to the Rob and Julie story, there's a very similar story to something that's happened to someone very personal to me. Two people got together about 11, or maybe now 13 years ago, um, and they were on opposite sides of Australia. And mind you, they were in their late 30s, 40s, so it was hard enough. It was beautiful at the start until about 6, 7 years in when the man of the relationship asked the woman to want to have kids. Now the woman couldn't conceive. So now a beautiful relationship has ended because they didn't come together like Rob and Julie at the start to discuss the vision of the relationship or the end result of the relationship. And it's good to ask these questions. And of course, we're going to have fears at the start, guys. Fear is normal.
Mm.
Okay, we think that we have to achieve something until fear is gone. That's not going to happen. Fear can never go. There's human fears and there's normal limiting belief fears. Those are the fears that we have to break through. Is those limiting beliefs in our head. It's not scary to talk about where you want this relationship to go, whether it's at the start or not. Better at the start because at least you know where you're heading. If this relationship is only going to last for a couple of months and that's all you guys want it to be, well, I mean, it's not fair on both of your hearts, is it? And that impacts your identity. So the next part of hoping, wishing, and waiting is your identity. Your identity not only as a person but as a couple. Your identity is who you are, again, as a person and both as a couple. We tend to lose ourselves when we get lost in the idea of the relationship. So we get lost in this period where we think too far ahead and don't understand that why we're in the relationship. So that's why it's great to have those visions and those goals. Also, sometimes I might go out on a limb on this. Sometimes people get into the relationship. And this isn't just directed at you guys. This is directed to the public out there. Sometimes get into a relationship because of being in the status or having a relationship. Oh, look at me, I've got a boyfriend. Look at me, I've got a girlfriend. You can stop that and create a beautiful relationship with that person if you really care about it. And not only that, guys, with the identity, it's good to know what type of relationship this is. Is this a fun, exciting relationship, or is this going to be a serious relationship where you guys want to create something? For me, my relationship status is a lot different to others. So, given my thing, it's a take it. I still have visions and I still have goals with my girlfriend because I want this relationship to work. But we're a lot younger than maybe some people on the call. So even creating a younger mentality, and that's why we created the first step.
Mm.
So introducing the first step into this step might actually help you guys propel forward. Anything else you want to add, Jay?
Yes, so with the identity, it's quite interesting because most people, when they go into a relationship, they forget about their own individual values. For me, I truly believe that values are so important. They're actually your compass into your happiness and fulfillment. So, for example, if someone who has a personal values has honesty and in a relationship with someone who cheats, um, and not, being honest, that actually compromise their own happiness and fulfillment. So couples need to realize that what are their own personal values and what are the relationship values. Because
Yeah.
I remember when I was in the last relationship was quite abusive, I compromised, I sacrificed a lot, and I lost a lot of touch with my personal values. When I walked out of that relationship, I had no idea who I was. And so I had to really refocus onto what do I want. The values, say, if someone has a value of family, make sure that you're in the relationship with someone who has the same value.
Mm.
Same with
And to add on
marriages.
that,
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. There is values not just individually, but as marriages. Individually, you might value, you know, party mode, whereas in the other person is career mode. Those two values are going to clash. Why do we have wars? And please, guys, I understand we have our own opinion about why we have wars, but it's come down to conflict of interest, and that's because of our values. So if you don't know what your values are, and you don't know what the value of the relationship is going forward, sitting down together, and I know it's going to come up a little bit later when we talk about a few other things. Values is a key step. And another thing about the whole cheating part, I heard this actually in a TV show. When we've got a conflict of interest between one person and the other, it's only because we're limiting ourselves, guys, and that's all it really is. So I'll just share that little insight before I go on any further.
Yep. Cool. The next one we
Anything else?
want to, I guess the next one I want to talk to you guys about is the role and expectation in a relationship. Andrew, you want to go first?
Oh, yes. Don't I just love the old mentality? Now, guys, those are pretty positive things that you see on the screen right now, but I'll tell you a little story. My father came straight out of the army, literally just walked into Australia because back then it was pretty easy. And he finished off as a lieutenant or something like that. And he was a very strict father in the sense of yes sir, no sir. He basically made me greet people saluting them. Now, the old way of thinking, and maybe this is why we have our own beliefs nowadays, is the expectation that we have on males and females that are limiting us from moving forward with the person we are. Today, back then it used to be that, like I said at the start, men had to be the provider and the woman had the caretaker and the housewife and so forth. Now, the problem, like we said at the start, if we come from a place where we think, okay, for women out there, if we think our men has to be the protector and the provider, that's putting a lot of responsibility on someone in this day and age, especially with financial success. Now, my father was in competition with my grandfather, even though they weren't even related, it was from the mother's side, is because financially my grandfather he wasn't a very educated person, but he was very intelligent and knew how to be the person there for their family. Whereas my father gambled his life away trying to prove something wrong because he had this expectation that financial success is what's going to make him a better father. Now, as you guys know, that might not work, and it doesn't, and it didn't work. The marriage lasted only about 11 years, not even under it. Actually, it was probably the 8-year mark, and I saw my dad's life go to waste because he still had that belief that because he was this extremely masculine man and educated and from the army, his old mentality of way of thinking really stopped him from enjoying what could have been an even better relationship. So it's good to know that what expectations you have of this ideal partner. I call it an ideal partner, and we all have an ideal way of doing things. So it's good to lower your expectations. It's like putting someone on a pedestal. I like to call it, for men, it's called the Hot complex, where we put someone on a pedestal and we just try to find that person over and over again. And we find ourselves in the same situation. And it's sad. So it's good to know that, guys, the old way of thinking was driven by his insecurities, as I shared that story with my father. Insecurities isn't going to get us nowhere. But it's good to know what role you have in a relationship. Jane, anything else you want to add into that?
And I think with us living in this 21st century, our mentality around role expectations are very different. These days, women have their own career and they're as equally as powerful when it comes to earning income. Some people have the women earning more than the men in the relationship, which push a bit of the relationship out of balance. And there's a lot of role reversals. And that's what has been causing a lot of frustration in relationship. That's causing a lot of men to feel like they're less worthy, and they pretty much shut down emotionally because of this. So I think a lot of it comes down to you got to embrace the situation for what it is. And some men do great at that, some men aren't. So what is the key? The key is to learn to step in and out as you need to. At the end of the day, the woman still want a man to be her man. What it means is whether he's there emotionally, financially, or physically, he got to step up and be the man in the relationship. And as women, we need to learn to let go and trust. Trust that, yes, we are capable and we are powerful and we're strong, but trust that if we let go, there will be someone there to just catch us. And women these days, they feel fearful that, oh my God, we ever let go of this power, how's my family's going to survive? So I think a bit of old and new mentality is going to work really great. So you've got to learn to embrace the power of each individual in the relationship. But not only that, you've got to
extremely important.
Yeah. And not only that, you've got to start acting as leaders. So years and years ago, men lead and women follow. They do as they're told. These days, they both have equal power when it comes to decision makings and, working together. So if you put the intention of the relationship before your own ego, that's how it's going to work. You work as a team. If your team member falls behind, what do? You got to just wait. You got to be there to support the person instead of blaming each other. And as men and women, we need to feel like we're able to support and empower the other person to be the best that they can be. Because once they become the best version of themselves, they contribute more into a relationship. Also, bringing back the responsibilities we have as human beings, you can't give more if you don't have any. So when we continue to grow and change ourselves, we actually have more to give and contribute to the relationship. Cool.
And I'll just like to add on to men on the call right now. It is extremely important if you're in a relationship and you find that, not your woman slacking, but you're both not where you're supposed to be. I think it's very important that the man empowers his woman to be a better person and to experience her dreams. Because once you empower a woman's dreams, it's not she'll love you forever, she will trust you emotionally. And it's vice versa. Believe it or not, I grew up with women basically. So I listen very well when it comes to women because I've just been born that way.
That's a great skills you have.
Into my head.
It's a great skills you have.
Yes. I'm lucky. So that's why I'm giving it away for free right now. So guys, as we move on to the next step, it's a good idea for men to understand that pushing their woman to the next level is going to actually make the man be pushed to the next level, and it's very, very important.
Yeah. And I think before we move on, we should just check in to see if anyone have any questions. Guys, if you have any questions or any thoughts or opinions, please feel free to let us know. Just going to see if there's any questions pop up. Okay, Richard said lots of good reinforcement. Thank you. All right, next one, communication breakdown. Okay, Andrew, you want to take on this?
Listening versus hearing. Oh, don't I just love communication breakdown. Guys, I have a crazy belief that communication is the key. Now, listening versus hearing is two different things. And some people have the belief that hearing is the way to go and listening. I'm here to correct it. Listening is the key. Listening is having the ability to listen to what someone is not saying. Now, the reason why we don't listen is because sometimes we are in our own head and we don't want the other person to judge what we're about to say. Or we're about to straight away jump the gun and try to put our point across. Perfect example. Guys, I know men and women are going to love this story, and I hope so on the call. You know, when you get home after work, fellas, and you just want to relax. You just want to chill. And the princess comes in, and she just wants to talk about her day. Meanwhile, he's trying to sit down and have a beer and just relax, chill out, and the missus is, you know, and today and Julie and then they tipped it over, and man, I know this goes through your head, and we're just like, oh no, here we go. It started. Oh, here we go. So you get up to go get some Panadols, and she's still talking, and she doesn't know why you're getting the Panadols. Guys need to come to a common ground, a common. It's a negotiation now, really, of whose story is better. Guys and girls out there, take the chance to listen to someone. Maybe it's not the best to straight away jump the gun once everyone's back from work to jump into today's topics and what happened and the amazing thing and the gossip and what happened last night on Big Brother and the news today. Why don't you both take a chill, relax, let yourself settle in, because we do know, I've seen a lot of arguments happen because we both want to, one wants to relax and the other one wants to talk. It's not going to happen. It's a clash of values again. It's conflict of interest. So guys, you know, it's good to just sit down and say, you know, is it okay if a bit later, maybe after dinner, we can sit down and we can talk about the day. Now, of course, at the start, the woman's going to go crazy. Say, no, I want to talk right now. I'm in the moment. What are you talking about? And this is the way we empower women and to educate ourselves. And both man and woman, is communication is key to not just a successful relationship, but also a successful life. If we can't communicate to our partner certain things, well, the relationship isn't going to move completely forward. Also, you kind of have to understand that the person is opening themselves up after work. Also, maybe don't jump the gun and quickly say, no, we're talking about it straight after dinner because Andrew said so. That might not work, guys. So just make sure you communicate it as well as possible.
And I think adding to that, Andrew, is, you know, come back down to the women. What the women really want is for the men to be present. Guys, if you on the call and you're having this difficulty with, you know, listening, you're going to make sure that you're there to listen. The word listen means be there 100%, undivided attention, phone off, TV off, and not even drinking beer. You've got to just be there completely 100%. Because a lot of the time what happens is guys would think that they listen, but they're just taking in information and they will just repeat what the women says. That's not what women want to do. Women want to actually just vent out. It's the nature of women. I'm going to talk a lot about differences between males and females in communication that most people don't know about. Again, men are very logical. Women are emotional. We all know that. But when it comes to communication, especially when the woman first got home, if she's emotionally hurt or feel like, you know, upset at work, she want to vent out because that's her way of sharing. It's her way of testing you guys to see if you truly going to be there for her. The listening is one of the key tests women do, and often men fail. They don't. The next one, internal versus external. Again, with men, they deal with things internally, and sometimes with women, we need to verbalize things. We need to externalize things. When men face these challenges or, you know, or problems, they want to fix it, and the way they fix it is they go internal. They will have to go through with all their thinking because they're logical creatures, and they will have to deal with the problem inside their head. As women, we see that and we go, oh my God, what's wrong? Tell me what's going on. And we keep going on and on and on. And the more we do that, the more men will shut down. So sometimes you've got to realize where is the gap. The gap is the space. Sometimes it's okay to say, babe, I need some space. Give me some space to think. And as a woman, respect that. It doesn't say that he doesn't love you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care for you. Just respect that those are differences in communication.
And to add to that, it is because we also, guys, girls, for your understanding, when you girls talk, it's at about 110 miles per hour. So for us, it's like, what just happened? You know, like, so girls gotta, both of us gotta understand that we gotta go at each other's pace. As soon as the girl says something and she vents out, guys, take the moment. And the reason why listening is versus hearing is listening is not just having the ability to have 110% present or be 110% present, is respecting the other person. And that plays a big part. When we just want to hear something, and yeah, sweet, yeah, I got it, yeah, it's because we don't just not respect the person who's talking, we don't respect ourselves.
Awesome.
Just thought I had that in. So.
And I think the last one, which is straightforward versus inferential. I remember Brian and I went on a trip going away. And we were in the car and I asked him, honey, do you want to stop at the next petrol station? We can just, go to toilet and we can, put fuel in the car, we just stop for a break. He came back and said to me, but we just fuel the petrol in the car. So he drove past the petrol station. I was pissed off. I was so upset because at that moment I expected him to realize when I say we, I mean me. So I just expected him to know that I want to go to the toilet, I want to have a break, and I think we should stop for a break. So that was one of the communication breakdown that I had in my relationship. And when I realized that men sometimes doesn't know really, they just can't know what women think unless we verbalize what we think. If you want something, tell the man this is exactly how I want it. I'll
Yeah,
give it to
that's
you.
exactly right.
Mm.
That's exactly right. And Jane and I were talking about this the other day, and she was kind of laughing at me. Guys and girls, you got to understand. A man wants to be told he's loved, whereas a woman wants to be shown she's loved. Okay, and that's where the communication breakdown is. Because we're so logical, we want to be told with words, with anything. Like I always say, is if you want your man to go to do the work outside or the lawn,
Just tell him.
make sure you reward him. Men like to be rewarded because our mothers used to reward us. So, I mean, don't be their mother, but it's like a perfect example. A couple of months ago, I was at my best friend's house and we're cutting the lawn and doing a few things. And he basically said, before it was, yeah, I'll cut the lawn. Where's a box of beer? Now, she didn't say, oh, as if you would say that. She knew deep down before that, this is what was her response. I already got the box of beer. Perfect. We'll do anything you want now. So it's Jane's perfectly is what she's saying is right. Is that us as men, just want to be told, and obviously some type of benefit comes after it. We want the chocolate before.
Yep.
But we've got to understand how to communicate that beforehand. I hope my girlfriend doesn't get any ideas now.
Cool. Let's move on. Number 5, playing the blame game. Pointing the finger. So, Andrew, here you go.
This is probably my favorite, yet the topic that really annoys me is I hate people. I don't hate people. I just dislike that people can blame someone else for their own mistakes. Now, have you ever been in the situation, it says on the screen, where you argue about the same point over and over and over again? It's almost as if we're both, we're both barristers, and we're both, well, I don't know how it works exactly, but there's the defendant and then there's the barrister who's arguing the point. So both parties are coming together in an argument, right? And it always happens in an argument where the other person, this is for both genders, we're trying to prove our innocence by proving the other person is guilty for whatever has happened. It's as if, what happens there is when you can't put 110% responsibility for your own actions, the other person on the other end cannot trust you, because they know that what you're trying to do right here is avoid a situation. And I bet you right now girls hate when men avoid the situations. And men, we avoid situations. We avoid the conflict. We might think we're conflict creatures, but because we're logical, for us it's like, yeah, I don't want to argue about it, but we keep bringing up the same point over and over and over again. Stop pointing the finger outwards. Now, guys, this is a DER moment in life. I call it a DER moment in life is because we always say, don't point the finger at me, point it at yourself. Well, let's just start doing it and see how it turns out.
Yep. And I think the question you got to start asking yourself when it comes to communication is, are you fighting for each other or are you fighting against each other? Are you each other enemies or are you a team? And when I ask myself that question, I realize that sometimes little things that we argue about no longer matters. It's all about, okay, how can we reach a solution? How can we move beyond this? How can we take this, away from the problems and towards a solution? And when it comes to argument, a lot of it is to do with ego. Our ego has one purpose only, and to keep us safe, to keep us comfortable, to warn us of danger, to warn us of a situation where it can be uncomfortable. And our ego has one need, and one need only is to feel significance, for us to feel like we matter. And that's why when arguments happen, we let the power of the ego, take the whole thing. Instead of realizing that, coming back to heart space, when you first fall in love, you fall in love each other at heart space. You're being present, you're there because you truly love and care for each other. None of the little things, silly things matter. And that's where it went really, really well until one point, the power of the ego take over, you argue, and it was all about, who's guilty, who's wrong. And
well, yeah, it is. And yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. And I think it's it come back to the importance of taking responsibility. There are two people in a relationship. You hear people say it takes two to tango. It's true. Unless you start taking responsibility, you can't expect the other person to take responsibility for themselves. Is there anything you want to add, Andrew?
Yeah, what I was going to say, why we argue over the same thing over and over again is because also it's not just because of our ego, it's because of our values. So when we're arguing with someone, it's not that you're physically hurting me, it's you're hurting my values, and this is what I value right now. So like we've come up with the points with guys, it's good to know when you're arguing, and it's very hard to do, but you guys got to become as present as possible, where you can say in your own head while the other person's arguing is sometimes letting the argument slide out and letting it go can be healthy. And sometimes having the argument is healthy. But if you're arguing over the same thing over and over again, it's time to check your values. It really is.
Yeah.
Because if you're arguing with the person, they're obviously affecting your values. But arguing with them isn't going to sort it out. Coming together as one is understanding what the value is and what the problem of the value is. It's taking responsibility, like Jane said, and we touched on it earlier with me. It's taking responsibility and 110% responsibility for your actions.
Yeah.
I think us as coaches, we just have a crazy belief that we control it. We control everything that goes on in the universe. We attract it all. So, yeah.
Yep. Let's check in and see if there's any questions before we move on. I'll just click on the next slide, and then I'm still checking the questions. Okay. If you guys haven't got any questions, just type in no, so I know you can start moving on to the last 2 points. Cool. All right. So number 6 is losing oneself. And when Andrew and I start talking about this, we just piss ourselves laughing because it's true. I have been there in my relationship, and we see it. Every day we'll see couples doing that over and over again, but they don't know and they're not aware of this at all.
Yeah, we're
So
not. We're
yeah.
definitely not.
So Andrew, you want to explain to them about losing individuality and independence?
Most definite. I've got no choice, don't I? This is the key, guys. As I said, the question before was my favourite. I think this has just moved up in the ladder because I believe it is extremely important to be independent in a relationship. Because the thing is, I think men and with both, I might direct a little bit more to men now, and women. Just take some notes for your men so you can have some insiders. Shh, don't tell anyone. I'm giving you guys the secrets. Men, the reason why we get lost in the relationship with this person is because I call it, like a friend of mine and I came up with the hot X complex. What it basically means in shorter terms is putting someone on a pedestal. When we put something on a pedestal, we depend on that person to let us live our life. Men need hobbies. Men need boys' time. Men need to go away. And the problem is that I learned as soon as my father passed away that I had to become an independent person. I couldn't rely on anyone after that. Not with trust, but I couldn't rely on other people's just income and love. And guys, I know this is going to be fluffy, and Jane and I laughed ourselves. As fluffy it sounds, it's self-love. You got to love yourself, and you got to nurture. It just popped up. I know Jane's going to touch on it, but I want to touch on this for men. It's all about self-love, and it's about accepting who you are as a person and being confident as a person. Get some hobbies once a week. I know when me and my friends and I get together, I'm a bit younger than some of the people on the call. We get together to play some Xbox. It's important to us that we get together to play that Xbox because it takes me away from everything else in life, not just from my girlfriend, but it takes me away and I can have fun with my friends, and it's just all about recharging yourself. We charge our phones, we need to charge ourselves. And it's a very important thing that we have our own individuality. What I know makes me an individual is the fact that I love doing things on my own. I just do. I'm just that type of person. I think that's because I've been an only child and I've grown up that way. It's just I've got to do things on my own. And it's extremely important, guys, in a relationship, so we don't lose the relationship, is to become an independent person.
Yep. And yes, the whole self-love and nurturing is very fluffy for men, but for women, we know all of that, but sometimes we don't. As human being, we're so great, and I don't blame it. We're all born to, and we were taught to be givers. We're all taught that it's great to give, and you just give, 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 and give. But there comes to a point where you feel exhausted, you feel tired, you feel resentful because you've given so much, and you put yourself on the back burner. And now you look back, you blaming yourself for giving. So I truly believe that each of us carry around with us a big, massive love tank. What it means is when we were born with more positive emotions, and over the years, as things happen, those emotions got replaced with more negative ones. And as we give more to other people, sometimes it's an exchange, sometimes it's about giving. And we fill up with more, we empty our positive emotions and we fill it with more negative ones. So when we feel resentful towards someone, the question is, are you taking care of yourself? Are you loving and nurturing your own self? A lot of us carry around this love tank with a mentality that, okay, I'm giving to you, you better give it to me. And it's an attitude of giving to get. you know, and it's not resourceful. It's not going to be sustainable for long term. So the
It's
better way
not.
to
It
think
really isn't.
about it, a better way to think about it is how can you be giving unconditionally? The only way you can do that is you've got to start recharging, start filling up your own tank yourself. No one can fill it up for you. It's never going to be enough. You've got to be the person who makes yourself feel loved and happy and fulfilled. Happiness needs to be an insider job.
It is. It is an insider job, and like you're about to talk to now, it is. It's okay to be alone. It really is.
Mm. And I've seen so many relationships, especially the abusive one that I was in, was the relationship turned out to be a codependent relationship. What it means is you rely on the other person for your happiness. Without the other person, you can't cope. You can't survive. It's like Romeo and Juliet sort of relationship. You know, it sounds really great in theory, but in real life, people commit suicide because they couldn't cope without the other person. That's the extreme. But I've seen people going through depression because of the relationship they're in. So it's very important for you to realize that sometimes it's okay to be alone. Sometimes it's okay to not have any distraction, not have the other person there, and just be you in that space and have the reflective time for you to recharge yourself.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it means watching a couple of hours of a TV show where you can just not think. Guys, it is about being independent and individuality because you don't want to resent the other person. And sometimes we come to a place from fear. That's why we spend so much time with the other person because we don't want to be alone. And the only way we find out anything good in life is through the unknown area of life.
Mm, yeah, cool. Okay, last point for today would be losing your spark plug. I'm going to touch on this one of my favorite topic, lack of time. Who hears one more time? If I ask this question, I'm pretty sure everyone raising and go, "Oh my god, I want more time." 10 out of 10 people want more time. The question I want to ask you is, if you can't have more time, what are you going to do? Because realistically, we all have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Same with Richard Branson, same with Donald Trump, Robert Kiyosaki, Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey. All the people we admire in the world have the same amount of time as us. So how do they make it happen? It comes back to commitment, because they are committed enough to something, because they prioritize something. They want it bad enough to make it happen. So when it comes to your relationship, if you ever say that I can't be bothered, I'm running out of time, I'm too tired, I would question your commitment. Cool. Andrew, you want to run through appreciation?
Oh, this is my favorite. One thing I like to do is spoil my girlfriend, not just with love, but every couple of weeks. Guys, it's good to get away. Just you two. To not just reunite the romance, the passion, the intimacy, but to recharge the relationship. It is extremely important that every couple of weeks you guys go do something spontaneous, something fun, something creative. I think Jane, you were saying you and Rod not too long ago went in. What did you guys do?
Hmm. We just every
Uh,
so what we do is we put into a calendar to remind us that every 3 weeks is our date nights. We have to plan, and we take turn planning for date nights. And we go away every 3 months. So yeah, so
yeah, and
there's always been
that
in our plans.
recharges the relationship. Yeah, that recharges or something. I think Ray messaged me and saying, I want to do something fun on the weekend. She doesn't always have to ask to spicing up the relationship to do something fun. The other week I said, you know what? Let's go up to Half Moon Bay and stay there for the night. It's probably illegal, but it's fun. You know, like, get away, guys, together, not with all the drama and all the craziness that's going around us. Just you two. Go on a nice long drive. Go up down Beach Road and have some fun. You know, it doesn't just have to be dinner. If you guys like doing dinners every couple of weeks, a couple of months, that's great, but you can get away. It's not just about movies. And the reason why we don't reignite it is because we, in a relationship, we have our own comfort zone in the relationship. We don't just have comfort zones as individuals, we have a comfort zone in the relationship. And that can be very deadly. And that's why we lose the spark plug, is because we lose that little spark because of our comfort zone. And the only way we can get out of our comfort zone is going as far as away as we can from the comfort zone, guys. So create more passion and intimacy, and I love it because I want to spoil my girl. And that's not just to brag about it, but guys, we spoil our girls. They don't have to do all the work, you know. I like to reward my work. If she's worked hard during the week, you know, if she's got a new job or something like that, go and celebrate for her. Not for yourself, but for her. Show her that she's appreciated.
Mm.
Come on.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of women expecting that this is, a man's job. But as women, how can you show appreciation towards your man? How can you show that love and that passion? Because if, you know what, if you don't maintain it, it will get thrown off the wagon in a few years.
Yeah.
And if you ask a lot of married couples, they will tell you this is what how it's supposed to be. It's not. If you put in the work, you get results. And if you put in the time and effort to maintain it, you will still be able to go 50 years time having passion and love and excitement and fun adventures in your relationship. Cool. And I think I want to, end this webinar with, really the relationship lasts long not because they destined to last long. Relationships last long because two brave people made a choice to keep it, to fight for it, and to work for it. So because you guys been on the webinar, so I want to share with you some special bonus, some exciting things that Andrew and I are doing at the moment. So we're going to have an upcoming 12 weeks relationship transformation. It's going to run from the 2nd of April until the end of June. And this is where you're going to learn so much about relationship. We're going to talk about relationship navigation, how to let go of the emotional baggage from your past that somehow, been stopping you from moving forward, learning how to say yes to you and filling your own love tank, how to really accept yourself, who you are, and accept your partner for who he or she is. You're going to learn tools and strategies about powerful communication, speaking the language of love. You're going to learn about the 6 relationship drivers, embracing each other's differences. You're going to learn about how to be a powerful man and how to embrace the modern Eve.
Guys, get your biceps out for that one.
Yep. How to have a work-life balance, and really, last but not least, it's keep the fire burning for many, many years to come. With that, you're going to have all the recordings to listen to later, unlimited email support from me and Andrew, as well as exclusive Facebook support.
Now, guys, you're going to walk away feeling not just excited after the 12 weeks. You're going to be a lot more empowered to control your own life. You're going to have more trust and passion. And you're going to be able to have the chance to overcome challenges with not just ease, but with more joy and happiness. Now, having a peace of mind is exciting, and that's the whole point, is to reach your relationship to not just new heights, but to an extraordinary level. Now, this is exciting, guys. It really is, because we worked extremely hard to get this thing going. So, guys, we want you guys to walk away with the tools and the strategies to create the relationship that you've always wanted, and to take your relationship to a whole new level with more passion and intimacy.
And these 12 weeks challenge going to be light training webinars, and they are valued at $11.97. But because our intention is one to inspire people and teach people, educate people on how to have the best relationship of their lives. So we throw in a special offer of 97 for 12 weeks. That work out to be less than $10 a week. You'll spend on lunch and coffee. But if you value your relationship enough, if you want to take it to the next level, this is very low investment. And for people who have attended today, in the next 48 hours, if you're keen, really keen to get on this, 87 is the deal that we have for you. Cool. So how can you be part of this? An easy way to be a part of it is you can go onto our website, so 12wrt.eventbrite.com.au to purchase your ticket. Again, your ticket is $97 for 12 weeks live training. And you're going to have all the recordings, unlimited Facebooks, and email support. And with the next 48 hours, it's going to be 87. So get onto it, guys. So our contacts are there. If you have any questions, let us know. We're going to stay on the call for the next 5 to 10 minutes to answer any questions you may have for us. I know there were a few questions that were raised before that were in the box, and I'm going to read it out. And then if you have a couple more, just throw them in for us. Okay, there's a questions that, so endless questions about my ex from my partner is because he's insecure. Sarah, you want to clarify this for us? What were you after? Another question is, what day of the week will the webinars be and at what time? So the webinars will be from 7:30 to 8:30 every Wednesday. It's going to be same time, same place, on the comfort of your couch. Okay, there's another question. Enid, if I say your name wrong, correct me, please. How can I spoil my girlfriend if I don't have much money? Only work as part-time. Sometimes it's really hard because her ex come from a rich family and I'm from not much money. I think romance doesn't cost much at all. It's really the thoughts that count. I once wrote on a piece of paper saying I love you. I put in a pair of socks for my partner, and it took him, I think, 6 weeks or about that until he reached, and get that pair of socks out. And then he read the message and he was like, oh my God, when did you write that? I'm like, I don't know. So just an example for you to know that, romance doesn't cost anything. It really is the thoughts that count.
It doesn't. And to answer your question there, a text message doesn't hurt. Also, since you are working part-time, maybe this is a chance for you to put some money aside to take her out on a romantic date. Or, look, Jade said it's not just about, a romantic date. Spoil your girlfriend just once a month. Like we said before, guys, is taking, once a month or every 3 weeks or so, just taking them out. You can just go get ice cream together and just talk. That's romantic as it is.
Yeah.
There's places you can guys go for a drive down to St Kilda and just walk along the beach. That doesn't cost much. So looking at that
there are
way,
many different ways. Yeah.
There's heaps of ways, guys.
Okay. And it said, what if she leaves me before 1 month? I will question what is your vision of the relationship. Maybe she might not be your ideal partner. So sit down and think about what is your ideal partner. What would be, a great vision for a relationship to have. Not only thinking about me just meeting someone, but having them in your life for the next 20, 50 years. What would that be like for you? And what are some of your visions and values? Does that answer your question, Enid? Sarah said, she asked, how do I stop him from needing to always refer to my ex, as in your ex wouldn't do this?
Oh,
Yes, Sarah, I would think that it does come back to his insecurity. Um, the past is the past, and you can't change that. You can only change what is present. So I guess for me, if it were to be put in that situation, I would have to voice my opinion. Really be honest with him about how you feel, because I wouldn't imagine you feel comfortable when he said that. Andrew, do you want to add something into this?
yeah. Now, to me, without jumping the gun and judging anyone, it's very common in guys for guys to bring up a woman's past. It's because we're so protective and insecure about our past. Also, um, I know me. I don't care about my girlfriend's past. I don't care. I never cared about my ex-girlfriend's past. It was never me. Only because I knew that when you talk about the past, I know for a fact a girl it hurts him. So for you to communicate to him without him having to give me a call to help him out, um, you need to communicate it like we said with communication. There's obviously an argument over and over again that's happening, and it's happening because one person wants to be heard. You need to open him up a little bit more and express it. He needs to at least fight through it with you. So you need to support him. I know it's going to be a tough challenge ahead, and that's why we've created the 12-week program, but you got to open him up.
Mm. It comes back to communication and really be honest about how you feel. I think a man, when you actually being vulnerable and open up and share your emotion and feelings, it opens a man up as well to be able to see your vulnerability. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I hope that answered your question, Sarah. Okay, let's just check in, see if there are any other questions. Okay. You're welcome, Sarah. Sarah said, thank you for your help. Um, I've got a person here asked about the link, so I'm just going to type it in. Um, so that's the link.
And I just want to say thank you guys very much for your questions. We do really appreciate it, and we understand how important it is to you guys.
mm, yeah,
Respect
absolutely.
it.
Cool. And so that's the link. If you're keen to register for our 12 weeks relationship transformation, there's just so much value that we cannot give in just an hour. And we would hope for you to join us on this adventure and to really, reignite the passion, reignite the intimacy, the love that you always have dreamed of. So if you don't have any more questions, um, Andrew and I are just gonna stop the webinar now, and you feel free to contact us on our emails, check our Facebook page, and we'll be seeing you on the next call next Wednesday, 7:30 to 8:30.
Thank you guys so much, and thank you for participating and giving yourselves 110%. It's not just committing to us, it's committing to yourselves, and we really do appreciate it, like I said before, and respect it dearly. And we're going to enjoy the journey and being on your journey and jumping on board with you guys.
Absolutely. All right. Have a fantastic night, guys. Thank you for being on the call, and we're looking forward to see you next week, and especially the 12-week challenge. Okay, bye for now. See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.